Deep Dive with David Stendhal, where we trade without ego, no emotion, no greed, and no opinion. Before we begin tonight's video blog, please read over our trading disclaimer and remember to trade smart and accept the reality that trading futures is risky. This presentation does not provide buy-sell recommendations, and our information is strictly provided for educational purposes only. As always, trade at your own risk and analysis. Hey, it's David Stendhal with tonight's Deep Dive. It is March 14th, 2018, otherwise known as Pi Day, 3.14 for those that are not in the nerdy know. So what we're going to look at today is coffee, the ETF JO, and there's other ones that you could be looking at. And there's not really a lot on the pro alerts, the second page I always look at, but there is something that's occurred here, which is a wave low that occurred in coffee. And I've been waiting for a condition to occur here so we can actually start talking about it. So here's the conditions. The short, intermediate, and long term all point to the downside. No doubt you're going to see a negative bearish trend. The technicals for the market are just in limbo, nothing showing up, and there's nothing showing up in the seasonal. So why is it that I'm excited by this particular market? It's preemptive, and it's something that I want you to start looking at because it's a really good market to trade. So the wave low has occurred here. Nothing else is really popping up, and I'll just, for full disclosure, nothing showing up here in the pro alert. So the only thing that's really showing up is the wave low in coffee. So that's where we're going to spend a lot of our time. So here is the negative trend to the downside. We've had some support. It broke that. It came back up, came back down, and now we're at a different level of support. We had a little bit of a negative day today, and I think that for the most part what we're going to start to see is probably a little bit of a basing, but we should see here in the near term some type of a push to the upside. So it's one that I just want you to be watching for the most part. So you can barely see it. I know they're dark blue on this light blue line. There's some dark blue lines or dots. We have one here, and when we had that condition, the market popped a little bit, went sideways, and then fell off after sort of meandering in around the 50-day moving average. Down through here, there's another wave low, bearish indicator. That's what the blue line represents, and we're looking for potential pops to the market. That's really what a wave low is dealing with. So we had the wave low that occurred here. The market did in fact pop a little bit to the upside. Again, it found resistance, and so third time's the charm. So for the short-term traders that are out there, I'll point this out. We just had a wave low. We had a small little pop yesterday. The market was down a little bit. There's probably a good chance that in the coming 4 or 5 trading days that we might be able to see it go up and hit the moving average, which is still obviously trending to the downside. So it's going to hit it one way or the other. So what we have is support to the market. I'll just give you that number. That's at 118.80. That's support to the market. Let's use resistance using the 50-day moving average, since the last couple of conditions, that's really what's taken place. And obviously that right now, and it's moving all the time, is at 123.77. That is where the market could be headed towards. So for where we stand right now, if we come back to the website, I just want to point out a couple of things very quick. Coffee is, where can I find it here? Where is coffee? Here it is. Coffee is kind of in no man's land right now. It's not in a really strong support level, nor in an expansive phase. But what I've been doing is I've been watching this kind of creep up here. So today, today is the 14th, Pi Day, as I mentioned. And this information will be updated as of this evening. And what I want you to watch over the coming days is for this to start to creep up, as I would suspect that we're going to see more volatility in the market. Where do we stand right now with the with coffee? Well, we're flat. So we're flat cotton, literally flat, no hedging. We're flat coffee, in anticipation of some type of a pop to the upside. Sugar has been doing well. We're short that market on a per contract basis, up around 9 grand or so, with a number of systems short. But the important thing here is that we're literally flat and we're looking for some type of a move to the upside. The other thing that you should be looking at, the way to find this this watch list, is you come to charts, you get a watch list, and then you get the master list. Coffee here is also in no man's land, where it's neither bullish or bearish right now. That's what that little sideways indicator is for the deep dive analytical technical overview. This is where it's coming from, and so what we're looking for is, I think, given where coffee is right now, perhaps a little more meandering. It was down a little bit, but it's going to eventually hit that 50-day moving average. Third time could be the charm, where we can actually break above that. So keep that in mind when looking at coffee. We're not long, we're not short, we're completely flat, but that's a market that I would suspect is going to have some type of a pop here. We've had a couple of false moves here in the last maybe last month or so, but if there's one thing about coffee, is when it makes a move, it makes a big move. And so you can have little loss, little loss, little loss with some of your positions, but eventually you're going to have that big move. I would suspect that we're closer to that condition occurring than we're not. So obviously the systems right now are not in a position. We're waiting for some type of position to take place, but I think that we're revved up. We're going to follow and track both the 50-day moving average as well as that support level that I gave to you when we were looking at this particular chart. Keep this in mind, that if we're able to break above that, then we've got major resistance to the market through here. But the major resistance is going to be found up in these two levels. And the great thing about coffee is that it can have explosive moves, and you can break through some of those resistance levels very, very quickly. So just keep in mind, watch coffee. If it's not in the actual futures contract, there's CAFE, C-A-F-E, which is an ETF that's not the most liquid. JO might be difficult to get into unless you're already trading it. And then there's a third one that I cannot remember what its initials are, but there are a couple of different ETFs that you could easily get into, and you might want to start looking at those particular ETFs on the long side should the market continue to move sideways, and eventually we get that little pop to the upside. So let's see what does take place. I just want to make sure that you're aware of coffee and you're set up and positioned to take advantage of it should it actually make some type of a move. So thanks for watching. We'll look at another market tomorrow. Bye-bye.